British Prime Minister Theresa May's leadership has been thrown into question after her chief Brexit minister abruptly quit, saying he can no longer support the Prime Minister's Brexit strategy. David Davis, the Secretary of State for exiting the European Union, resigned late Sunday and issued the sharp attack on Ms May's Brexit plan. In a letter to the Prime Minister, Mr Davis said he disagreed with the general direction of her negotiating strategy with the European Union, calling parts of it illusory and saying it will leave us in at best a weak negotiating position, and possibly an inescapable one. It seems to me we are giving too much away, too easily, and that is a dangerous strategy at this time, Mr Davis told BBC Radio on Monday. Perhaps, one side effect of my departure might be to put a little pressure on the government not to make any other concessions, and I will keep arguing to say there's a better way to do it than this. Steve Baker, a junior cabinet minister in the Brexit department, also resigned on Sunday. Mr Davis was quickly replaced on Monday by Dominic Raab, a firm Brexit backer who has been seen as a rising star in the Conservative Party. Mr Davis's departure comes at a critical time for Ms May. The UK is set to leave the EU next March, and both sides have been locked in negotiations about the terms of Britain's departure and an agreement on the future relationship. The EU has said a deal must be reached by October to give EU member states enough time for ratification. Ms May has faced relentless dissension within her party between those who favour a hard Brexit and want to break off all ties to the EU, and those who support a softer Brexit which would include the country remaining within the EU's customs union. The customs union has become a key element in the talks because it allows for the free movement of goods. With no tariffs imposed between member states and the same tariffs charged by all countries on imports from outside the bloc, British business groups have said that remaining in the customs union would give them more certainty. It would also ensure there was no hard border between Ireland and Northern Ireland, something both the UK and EU have said is essential. However, Brexit backers oppose the customs union because it would mean staying aligned to EU regulations, and it wouldn't allow the UK to charge its own tariffs or develop its own trade policy. On Friday, Ms May thought she'd finally reached a consensus with a plan that included a customs arrangement. The plan, which will be fully outlined later this week, would ensure the free flow of goods between the UK and the EU, but also permit the UK to set and collect its own tariffs. The UK would also collect EU tariffs on goods moving through Britain to the EU, and there would be an agreement allowing for almost free movement of people. Ms May hailed the plan as a sensible approach to Brexit that fulfilled the country's objective of leaving the EU without damaging the economy. The arrangement is a comprehensive and detailed proposal which provides a precise, responsible and credible basis for progressing our negotiations towards a new relationship between the UK and the EU after we leave in March, she said Monday. She also demanded that all cabinet ministers support the plan or resign. Her hoped-for consensus began to unravel over the weekend after it was attacked by Brexit backers who said it amounted to a soft Brexit that kept the UK far too aligned with the EU. Ms May's plan is not really leaving the European Union, said Jacob Rees-Mogg, a Tory MP who leads the European Research Group, a collection of MPs that strongly support Brexit. She has advanced backwards. She has advanced not to have Brexit, he added. Several other Tories have called for Ms May to either withdraw the plan or resign. Under Conservative Party rules, 48 MPs can call for a vote of confidence in the leader, and there were indications on Monday that several MPs have come forward. I hope we are going to have a U-turn by the Prime Minister today, otherwise she's going to be in serious trouble, Tory MP Andrew Bridgen told BBC Radio on Monday. Matthew Goodwin, a political science professor at the University of Kent, said Mr Davis's resignation could prompt other cabinet ministers to quit, notably Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson, who is also an ardent Brexiteer. And with Davis now outside of the cabinet, will other pro-Brexit MPs stage a more serious rebellion against Prime Minister May and her soft vision of Brexit? He added. The latter may now feel emboldened and simultaneously worried that they no longer have a serious Brexiteer at the heart of government. If we have learned anything about Eurosceptics in British politics over the past 30 years, it is that they do not simply walk away quietly into the night. Tim Bale, a professor of politics at Queen Mary University, said Mr. Davis had been disgruntled for some time and his resignation wasn't a complete surprise. He added that the turmoil in Ms May's cabinet has also left the EU wondering about the UK's position. They perhaps hoped beyond hope that they were going to get some kind of clarity from the British government, and now the waters are muddied again. So I think everything really is up in the air at the moment.